Hi, I have an AEG T35850 tumble dryer. When I turn it on it beeps 3 times, the start light blinks orange and it won't start. I have looked online and followed a procedure to retrieve the error code. The error code is 6 orange blinks followed by 2 red blinks. Other answers say it is an E62 error, which means heater problem, and to check the thermostats. So far I didn't find what the problem is. Hi, I'm Daniel and I'll be helping you today. I've been repairing white goods for 20 plus years. And currently work for a well-known manufacturer. If you have the E62 error code, this is indeed a heating error. What you need to do is remove the bulge cover on the back, and there you will see the heater. Remove this and inspect the spring coils and check they haven't burned out. Then turn the heater over and there you will see 2 thermostats. You need to test them with a multimeter, and if any are faulty then you need to replace the heater. Check that out and see what you find and let me know. Regards.
Have already looked at the heater and at the thermostats. Heater coils look okay and the 2 thermostats also look okay, unless I don't know what exactly to look at. 1. Green thermostat is conducting 2. Red thermostat is not conducting, resistance is about 0.5 ohm. Also, before the problem started I saw the heater working. I have opened the dryer because it stopped turning and the drum had a lot of friction. I have removed it, cleaned everything and put it back. I have tested everything, with the side and top panels removed, and everything was okay. While testing I saw the heater working, it turned red. After I have closed the panels this problem started.
Okay, if you don't have a reading on the red thermostat then it's faulty, as both thermostats should give a closed circuit reading. If you have 5 ohms on the red thermostat then it's faulty and you need to replace the heater, as the thermostats only come part of the heater itself. But if the fault was the drum not turning first and the heater was working, then the thermostat would have failed because the drum wasn't turning as it needs airflow from it, otherwise the heater will get too hot and the thermostat will trip out. So you need to find the fault for the drum not turning first, as if you fit the new heater and the drum still isn't turning then the thermostat will fail again. Regards.
When the thermostat failed the drum was already turning. As I said, I have tested the drum working with the panels removed and saw the heater turning red. Only after assembling everything the heater problem started. Have no idea why it has failed. Can I short the red thermostat just to make sure everything is working before replacing the heater? I assume there are 2 thermostats to have 2 different cutoff temperatures. Assuming that the red thermostat is bypassed, which program will be safe to test with? One that uses the green thermostat and not the red?
The heater uses both thermostat on there, so there is no way you can safely run the dryer with it bypassed, as it won't control the heater and just get too hot. Now you can bypass the thermostat just to check the heater will come up, but you cannot run it for long. Just join the 2 wires together that goes to the red thermostat and try and keep the heater somewhere held up, as you cannot refit the heater as the wires will touch the back panel and trip the electrics. So when it's bypassed just try the dryer on any cycle and see if it gets hot, and if it does then you know it's the heater that needs to be replaced. Regards.
The thermostats are connected in series. Just got the connection going through the green thermostat only and put the heater back in place. I have tried to run it on the 30 minutes program with an empty drum. At the beginning everything looked just fine. The heater turned on only for about 12 seconds each cycle. After some time, the second thermostat failed as well. Something is failing the thermostats. I assume it has to do with the drum problem I had. The drum is now turning okay, but there is a loud noise coming from the motor. Probably a bad bearing or similar problem. In order to fix the drum problem, I have completely removed it, cleaned everything and got it back in place. Without load, it looks working fine. Any idea what is going on there that could fail the thermostats?
That thermostat is a cycling thermostat, so it will go off and come back on again. So once it's cooled down, the thermostat should reset again. Is it doing this? Regards.
Okay, it cooled down and reset again. I'll go and get a new heater tomorrow. I still have a problem with the drum though. The motor goes off and on every once in a while when the dryer is working. When the motor gets hotter, it becomes harder for it to start till the point that it won't. I have tried to turn the drum with my hand to see if there is some mechanical problem, but it was turning smoothly. As I said before, there is a loud noise coming from within the motor that sounds like a bad bearing or similar. I guess this causes the motor to heat. 1. Can I service the motor shaft and bearings, or is the motor coming in a closed unit like the heater? 2. What is failing the motor from starting? Is there something I can do? Can it be a bad capacitor? Thanks, Avi.
Okay, this sounds like the motor itself is faulty. The bearing in there can seize up, as it is something I've seen before. Now it's not something we do servicing the motor, as when this happens we just replace the motor itself. As to the capacitor, if it is starting but just stopping, then I don't think it will be the cap, as when they fail it just won't get the drum turning at all rather than just stopping. So from the sounds of this, it's going to need a new motor and heater, which isn't going to be a cheap fix. Now British Gas do a fixed price repair for £125, so this will be cheaper than you buying the parts yourself. So that's something to think about as well. Regards.
The motor is not stopping. The dryer stops the motor every once in a while when it changes the direction of the motor. When the motor is hot, it won't restart. You can even see that sometimes it has hard time to start, but it succeeds, and sometimes it fails. The reason I was asking about the capacitor is because it won't start, but it only happens when the motor gets hot. I don't understand why it fails to start only when it is hot. I have tried to turn the drum manually and it is not mechanically stopped or seized. Thanks, Avi.
Hi, the capacitor only gives the motor a boost to get going. So from the sounds of it, it's overheating and the thermal overload inside the motor is cutting out and stopping the motor from restarting. So it is sounding like the motor itself is the fault here, I'm afraid. Regards.
Well, I have fixed both problems. For the thermal fuse, I have done some more research and found out that usually you can reset it. I have gently drilled a tiny hole at the back of the thermostat and reset it by pushing a pin through the hole. You hear a click when it reset. Have tested it multiple times to see that it is working correctly and no problem. When the temperature goes high, it cuts the circuit. After that, I can reset it again with a pin. Very simple fix that cost nothing. For the motor, the problem has been the bearings. I have removed the motor and replaced the two bearings. One of them was a little tricky to remove, but not really a big problem. Cost for both bearings was less than £30. Everything is working fine now. Thanks, Avi.
Hi, glad to hear it's sorted. As to the heater, I've heard of that being done, but the reason I didn't advise on that is we are not allowed to do this. If I was to do this for the company I work for, I would be sacked on the spot as it affected its safety of the dryer. But as you know how to reset it, at least you can control it now. Fingers crossed this will be fine now. Regards.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.